I know what you're thinking. What is going on? There are a lot of pictures in here. So what I've accumulated, of course, was a compilation of various angelic sources from different cultures across the globe. The most famous depictions of angels come from our Judeo-Christian Islamic faith. But this class is going to show you, prove to you, that angels existed before any of our modern faiths today. And a lot of the Judeo-Christian Catholicism, right, the standards on angelology, which is angel lore, comes from the ancient world. Samaria, Babylon, Mesoamerica, they all had their familiar spirits or guides, they would call them, or energies. And so by today's class, I hope that you guys will all be able to understand how to contact angels, how to bring them into your aura field, specific color spectrums to utilize when calling forth angels. And of course, I'm going to show you how to keep those protective energies with you throughout your day-to-day activity and throughout your life. At the end of this lecture, I'm going to give you guys your personalized guardian angel. Two that follow you. It's believed in Kabbalah that there are two birth angels who follow you. In Kabbalah, it's a mystic form of Hebrew mythology. We'll call it mythology or mythos. A mystic form of practice. Much like Sufism is to the Muslim faith, the Kabbalah adds that mystic element. And the angels are all encoded with mathematical formulas and equations. It's amazing stuff. So we're going to follow along with this guide today, okay? Here we go. Intro to Angels. This is a comprehensive guide which would enable you to understand not only the levels of the angelic kingdom, but also the hierarchy as well as the heavenly bodies which make up the cosmic realm. This is a compilation originating from various cultures, as I explained earlier. Judeo, Greco-Roman, Mesopotamian, Assyrian, Judeo-Christian, Baha'i, Islamic, Nordic, Himalayan, Egyptian, and modern. Here I noted a few facts here. You're going to get this online. If you leave your email, I'll send you the fact sheets. So the seven heavens, right? The seven heavens correlate to this original 6 days of creation and the 7 days of rest. The 9 ranks of angelic beings have been disputed amongst the centuries because no one can seem to get it correct. Okay? But the closest known we have is from a few that I'll mention now. St. Paul wrote in the New Testament about the principalities, the thrones, dominions, and powers. In the book of Acts, he speaks about various angels. He gives them different names. Some angels were used for exorcism, and he would call them powers. In the book of Enoch, right, which was removed from the modern Bible and entered into the Apocrypha, written in 3 languages including Slavic, Aramaic, and Hebrew, was credited to have the oldest, most original stories pertaining to the angelic hierarchy, which was adopted by the centuries by Latin scholars, later Catholic, and eventually Muslim writers. The hadiths and the surahs written in the Quran and from the words of the Prophet Muhammad were an Eid Mubarak, by the way, everyone, if you're Muslim. So the Muslims, as you know, a lot of their faith comes from the Indo-Eurasian area, right? So a lot of the Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, right? They're already pre-existing angelic folklore that was there before, Islam came into the surface. With the whole 99 names of God, so there was already a formula going on. As you know, this is the great Cyrus the Great, depicted as an angel. Cyrus, unbeknownst to many, reconstructed the second temple of Jerusalem for the Hebrews so that they can go back after their captivity in Babylon. The Assyrian general and lord, king of the world. But if you keep following, you'll see depictions like fairies, fae, valkyries, and the Nordic peoples, they all have. But following along, we'll keep going with the facts because we can go all over the place with this. And I promise to keep to a strict code this time, so I'm flying off into heaven. So the reason why the book of Enoch was removed from the Bible was because it had too much mysticism. It was too taboo for church officials. However, the many popes were quoting from it. Ironic, right? And in your modern Bible, the Apocrypha was completely removed, including the book of Enoch. Enoch was the first prophet to ascend into heaven that we have known accounts of. It's written in the story of Genesis. The first 5 books of the Bible were written by Moses, as you know. Okay? So Moses wrote a lot of our known history, which was the forerunner for modern Christianity and Baha'i and Islam. And, here we have it. So, according to the Torah, Enoch was a very righteous and pious man. And so God said, Enoch, I'm taking you. Come on, we're going up. So he actually became an archangel. He became Archangel Metatron. And what Enoch saw, what later Elijah and even Ezekiel, the prophet who we're still waiting for, saw, was this. The heavenly chariot of God. Okay, this is a very grayscale picture. But I have nicer pictures, but you can always look up the Chariot of Ascension. Spoke about in the book of the Tobit, which was another book not mentioned in our Bible. It's in the Apocrypha as well. Okay, we'll keep going. Going on to the book of Tobit. The only men to become archangels, I said, were Enoch, but also Elijah. Okay, Elijah was another prophet mentioned in the Tanakh. Between the Ketubim, the book of the prophets, in the modern Bible. Now, Elijah was there, and he saw a smoke screen of fire and 4 sacred beasts. It's rad, the book of Elijah. And also Ezekiel. It's so mystical. It's like people couldn't even understand it. And so these 2 men became archangels. Archangel Metatron became God's scribe. Metatron, Serhapanem, means one who guards the throne of God. And next to him, Sandalphon, Elijah. These are the 2 men who you call upon, and they exist within the tree of life. They are guardians of Sephiros. Sephiros are God's emanations or powers. But that's another class. That's a lot to cover. Okay, so here we go. So now you know 2 men became angels. Going on. How many of you guys are familiar with Dante's Inferno? You ever heard about it? Okay, here we go. Good, excellent. So, the Dante's Inferno was believed by many during the Renaissance to be a work of divine inspiration, which was, of course, divided the hierarchy of angels into 3 spheres. See the Paradiso. It's part of the Divine Comedy written by Dante Alighieri. The reason for the popularization of the celestial system of angels was due to a man, a 5th century scholar named Dionysius, who wrote a book called Corpus Aeropaticium. It's also known as the Celestial Bodies in Latin, which influenced St. Thomas Aquinas, who created the manuscript of Summa Theologica, the book that set the standard on the Catholic religion. And you know the Catholic religion dominated the known world. So those standards were set in play, demonstrating the hierarchical order of angels. There was a gentleman, say about the 1920s, a Swedish physicist and theologian named Emanuel Swedenborg. He had a theory that angels could be seen through the eyes of the soul, or our third eyes. But we never use those words because not to blame Catholicism, but they wanted to suppress a lot of the knowledge. This is why we're expanding our knowledge now. We're like, wait a second, Thomas Aquinas, I want to go before you. I want to see what happened before. And all these brilliant men, they were just, I can't say regurgitating, I would say recycling information that predated them.